All right, welcome back to another episode of the Mid Range Podcast. After a short
Welcome.
hiatus, Nick, it's great to be back with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, what a week to take off. It wasn't an event-filled college basketball week at all, and now we're heading into the part of the year where late December when it's most jam-packed. So I'm glad we took that week off.
Yeah, certainly efficient strategy. And this is just like that's just the level of class you can only hope to get from a podcast like this, where we are locked the hell in, and we all know that start to finish.
100%.
Um, Nick, I guess I'll just start. I'll just ask you how was your week? You doing well?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Always a great question to start the pod on a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good week. Hey, I hit a lot of ball this week. One women's game, couple men's frog games that were fun to go to. They split the week, so you'll take it, but maybe you wish a little bit better. But overall, I can't complain of where TCU is at right now. And in the grand scheme of things, there was a lot of crazy storylines, and I think we found out a lot about teams this week that we were, you know, kind of forming opinions on before. So, yeah, we it's a fun time. It was a fun week.
Absolutely, Nick. I'm glad to hear that. I started a new job this last week, so that's been a little hectic.
Hell yeah!
Probably
What are you
part of the
doing?
part of the reason I'm a legal assistant.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn!
yeah. At a
Big
company in
time.
Columbus. Yeah, super big time. Yeah, super big time stuff. But yeah, started that, and then obviously we did the pod on Saturday when TCU was on their little run and OSU lost during our podcast, obviously on that buzzer beater,
Yeah,
which
great
I'm
pod.
pretty much moved on from that. Yeah, that was probably our best. But then, yeah, So I was like, all right, we probably don't need to do a Tuesday episode since we had done that. And then I was going to do one with Bryce, and then he got sick. So it just ended up being a podless week, unfortunately. But here we are back in action with the mid range. We got a good week of hoops to cover. So let's just get right into it. I want to take us back chronologically through the week, and we can talk about kind of like game by game and like any big takeaways you had from these games. So I want to like bring us all the way back to Tuesday of last week, where I think we had three games that ended maybe a little closer than we might have expected for the state of these teams, and yet all kind of ended up a little chalky. But we had Florida Duke come down to the wire. Duke wins by one. We had UConn Kansas with UConn pulling it out, 5 point win, 61-56, and you had North Carolina beating Kentucky 67 to 64. So three down to the wire games, but three teams in Kansas, Florida, and Kentucky that I think people have major questions about. And Nick, let's start with Florida Duke. What do you think about this game? I know you're intimately familiar with Florida now.
Yeah, I'm very intimate with him. Um, It was, I mean, Florida was up late in this game and they should have won it.
Yeah,
Like Boogie Flint didn't start off the game hot, and late he was making shots. Obviously,
yeah.
the game's a while ago,
It
but
was a
he was a
perfect
bucket
boogie
getter.
flan game.
Yeah, where he kind of came on late, and Thomas Howe is kind of building on a special season here. But I think the main takeaway, which we'll talk about with the Michigan State game, I'm sure too, is Duke is legit, and Cam Boozer is kind of separating himself as the best player in the country. And
Yeah,
it's looking like back-to-back years where like Duke's gonna have the National Player of the Year as a true freshman, which is
yeah.
unfair almost. But it just came down to that. Like late in the game, like you trust him. They run this set with you take Isaiah Evans. You give Cam Boozer the ball and put him in a pick and roll set with Isaiah Evans where he can flare and he's your best shooter. And then it's almost unstoppable. Where they did the same thing against Michigan State as well. They did the same thing um, early on in the season too, and their quest on this undefeated season. It's it's special and it seems unguardable at times where Boozer's so familiar and Shire has done such a good job getting these freshmen and these pieces to fit so good. The last couple years, like if we're being honest, Duke's arguably Duke was arguably a phantom over the back call away from a national championship last season with true
Yeah.
freshmen, one of the most talented teams we've seen maybe of all time. And they come back and they didn't miss a beat beating these high quality teams. But from the Florida end, like, yeah, they're not to the caliber of the top teams, but it's kind of the same conversation I think we've had last week, and I think overall in the season, like, they're not bad. Like, it's not. I think Kentucky obviously is the most disappointing team, and I think like St. John's, there's some disappointment
Yeah.
there. I don't think Florida's to that level, and I think Florida's just
You don't?
gotten the bad bounce of some of these games. So yeah, I think it's
I don't
more
know,
that.
Nikki. Like with Florida, I mean, I hear you, and like maybe they're not as disappointing as the teams you mentioned, but like you look at their schedule, aside from that like big win over Miami, who's 8-2 now, so maybe a little credit on that one, but like they went down to the wire with Florida State, who's mediocre, 5-4 at the moment. They obviously lost to Arizona in the first game. They lost to TCU, as we know, and they lost to Duke. Like they beat Providence, but Providence isn't really any good. It's like I don't know if this is a good. Like they're fine, but like I don't think they're even a top. Are they a top 3-4 team in the SEC? Like I don't. It really have been quite disappointing, and I you gotta. And like yeah, you go down the wire with Duke, and it comes a week after you lose to TCU, and it's like you go down to the wire, and like Duke did not look exceptional either. Like they were missing a lot of open shots, and like this brings me to a point about Boozer, where like Boozer is like the most incredible offensive player in the country, not even close. He is unbelievable to watch. Like I think he's a better offensive player than Flag. Like he is so good with the ball in his hands and like 3-level scoring, passing, offensive rebounding. He's smart. Like he really is one of a kind offensive player. His defense is not great, and like Florida was getting inside at will on him and was finishing over him with no problem. And like these big guys for Florida played well, and like their guards are just so bad. Like it's incredible how bad Florida's guards are. And like we've obviously harped on this, and everyone kind of has, but like Xavier Lee, who is reportedly making what is it, $6 million a year, 4-6 million, somewhere between.
I don't think it's that much.
I saw maybe
6
that was just
million?
Centel, but I saw
I don't know.
6 million.
Let me check.
But
That'd be
however much
crazy.
he's making, he was a massive transfer this summer, right? Like he was a
he
big
was.
deal transfer coming over from Princeton. He was one of the best players in the Ivy League. And so far for Florida, in 28 minutes a game, he's averaging 9 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers on sub 30% shooting. He's shooting 27% from the field.
Yeah, you're right about the
22%
6
from
million
Yeah,
per
6
report.
million.
That's
It's
crazy. I didn't
Like
even
he
realize
was
it that much.
one of the biggest transfers in the country, and he has been awful.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're not stat watching. Like when you watch the game, you're like, this guy can't shoot. Like he's been completely useless for them, and it's like. It's like I think we mentioned this when we talked last week, but it is so reminiscent of UConn last year, where it's like you bring in guard transfers and you're like, oh, this is gonna work out for us, and it's like they aren't good enough, and like Boogie Fland wasn't spectacular last year for Arkansas either, and everyone kind of just thought to themselves like this guy's gonna fit right in and be a perfect player for Florida, and you know. Todd Golden's so amazing, he's going to figure this out. It's like, you know, you can't work a miracle. Like, these guys just might not be good enough, and as good as their front court is, like, I think we have to, like, our expectations for Florida come the end of the season is, like, we got to be, like, 7 seed, 6 seed, like, that kind of range. Like, we're not talking about I don't even think we're talking about I mean, I'll just say we're not talking about like a Final Four, Elite Eight type team at this point. And we can say that now, and they might prove us wrong. They literally play UConn tomorrow night, so maybe they go and shock us and they beat UConn, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something there. But at the moment, like you've had 2 real tests, 2 top teams. You've lost to both of them, and yeah, you went down to the wire with Duke, but like how like how poetic was it that like Boogie Flam literally dribbled the ball off his leg to lose you that game? Like that's exactly the problem. Like I don't know. With Florida, and obviously Bryce was all in. Like they're the best team in the country coming into the season. It's like you just watch them, and it reminds you just how important guard play is when it comes to college basketball. And you talk about St. John's the same way, I think, but Duke is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Deserving number 3 in the country. We'll talk more. We'll hold off on Duke for the moment because we'll talk about obviously that Michigan State game, and we'll talk more about Cam Boozer because he's fucking awesome. Any thoughts on UNC Kentucky or UConn Kansas?
I mean, I think Kentucky might be the story of college basketball this year. I don't even know if we need to necessarily go like game by game stuff. But let's
just talk about the team.
Yeah, Kentucky I mean, the biggest disaster there is right now.
Suck.
Like, it's one of the biggest like collapses of recent memory. Like when you're investing, obviously, I mean, everybody's had this conversation amongst college basketball circles, so like we don't need to do the whole thing, but to just throw it out there. I mean, you're investing the most money in college basketball, around $22 million is the thing, and I think it's fair at this point with college athletes to criticize them because they're making like a bunch of guys on Kentucky are making like over $2 million a year, which
was this in reference to the Oweh discourse on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean Oweh has the worst body language of all time and has the worst effort of all time for a guy who's SEC preseason player of the year. Like it's a monumental disaster where he's as of right now probably out of NBA talks, and he was pretty much a lock to be a draft pick, I think, before this year. But they're losing bad. Obviously, Gonzaga was the big one where they lost by 30.
35.
And they're getting smacked, and it's just horrible vibes the way they're doing it. Like Mark Pope seems defeated, and the effort there just horrible. Like Jalen Lowe came back, and he's obviously he's not going to be the savior of everything, and like you're waiting on Quaintance as well. But again, nothing is going to save if they keep playing with this low of effort, and it's horrible. And like Mark Pope got off to a better start than expected, to where I think he bought some time. But I mean, if you look at him in totality, like he's never had a crazy amount of success, and doing this hire was basically a homer hire because he was a Kentucky guy, but he had no NCAA tournament wins coming into the year. Yes, he had 2 last year, but was an exit in the Sweet 16, and it's just all bad. Like it's valid to criticize him. They don't have a GM, which if you're investing $22 million in your Kentucky basketball, like every Power 5 team should have a GM regardless.
Yeah, right.
To be able it's a basic fit where it's like, you have one point guard, and they just have so many of the same dudes that just aren't fits for this team, for Mark Pope's style, and to put together the totality of teams. So it's all bad right now. Like it blows my mind how they're still like top 20 in KenPom, because they wouldn't be close to an NCAA tournament team if the season ended today. So that's just based off preseason bias. It's monumentally bad vibes, and I think there's a lot of valid question marks. Like when you saw the Boogie tweet and a lot of criticism from former Kentucky players, it's very, very bad. And obviously with an SEC schedule, like they're gonna have so many chances to turn this thing around, like how Arkansas did last year. But it's gotten to a level that's lower than I think even that. And again, as big of a disappointment as we've seen, you can put it up to any team because nobody's invested this much money into a team. So the expectations are at an all-time high, and they've completely flopped.
I think I'm going to do one spin zone. The only spin zone for Kentucky is like maybe you've lost to 4 top 10 teams. And that's generous, but maybe that's what it is. Like Louisville is a top 10 team, top 10 caliber team. North Carolina has been great this season. Maybe they're that kind of caliber of team. Gonzaga is definitely that caliber of team. And Michigan State has seemed to be like, maybe the absolute benefit of the doubt is you have played a very, very tough non-conference. You have played probably the reason they're still top 20 in KenPom is because they probably play the teams they've lost to are probably all top 10 or ahead of them minimally, obviously. Yeah. And like that's the absolute spin zone, and it's like, all right, now figure your shit out. Like that, you're 9 games into the season. You're University of Kentucky. You spent $22 million on your roster, and you're 5-4. Like it is insane. You have Indiana coming up. You have St. John's coming up. Like something's wrong with this roster. Like Mark Pope knows there's something wrong with this roster. The effort level. Anyone who watches Kentucky knows there's something wrong. It's like they don't have any coherence as a team. And this whole thing with Mark Pope was that he had like Mark Pope was the guy with the system, the guy with the offense. Like he had a system that players fit into, and that's how he ran his teams. They're not running any sort of system. It looks like the worst version of like my turn, your turn, ISO ball, and it's just disgusting to watch. And they've been terrible. And like, it's the funniest thing ever. It's like this is a roster of Kentucky that's built off of these super high value, highly paid transfers. You know, second, third, fourth year guys, like long term guys, and most of the players dominating college basketball this year are freshmen. It's like they are always one step behind. Why are they not operating forward thinking? Like you're Kentucky. There's a legacy of monster freshmen. There's a legacy of getting 5-star guys, and you decide to completely abandon your identity once everyone else decides actually we're going to go back to the freshman thing. Like it's the most nonsensical thing. And like I agree with you. Like, if you're Kentucky and like if I'm Mark Pope, like my ass is getting hot. Like that seat is warm. Like if they are, I mean,
they're putting this much money. These are the results.
It's crazy. I mean, I think I don't know. Did you pick? I don't know who you picked. I picked them to win the SEC. And like I know that, and like I was like, oh my god, all these pieces coming together. Like, and then the other thing is like. Maybe you're like, oh, Quaidens hasn't come back yet. But it's like, come on. Like, that can't be an excuse.
It's fixing a tsunami with a, whatever that term is when you put like a
it's
on like a big
hole. With something way too small to...
Yeah, with like a picket fence or something. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
But yeah, no, I think the funniest part of all is, like you said, like to your point of it's Kentucky and Kentucky's, and I know obviously Cal's the reason that they have all the freshmen, the elite freshmen, sure. But it's Kentucky, and this is the year of the freshmen, and the lack to adapt, and even the freshmen they have, like Malachi Moreno and Jasper Johnson, like they aren't fits, like they're not close to elite guys, and they're not good fits here, so it's, Again, like everybody's talking about this, like in every college basketball circle, but it's completely valid, and they're gonna need to turn things around fast. It's Kentucky basketball, like it's
it's Kentucky, and we know the best part about Kentucky.
Yeah, the best part is that their football team sucks, but like you can only love that if their basketball team is good. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad.
And I think what puts it into perspective too is like in like, you know, Kentucky blue blood iconic, like this is college basketball. This is the quintessential college basketball. And then you see like UNC, who they lost to, who was kind of projected to have a down year, who doesn't have the level of talent that Kentucky in theory did. They are winning games. They are playing like a blue blood, and they're winning consistently. Even Kansas, who's another blue blood that we thought might be falling down, with like a lack, kind of an old school style, and like maybe a lack of talent, like not enough transfers. We said this in the summer, and like they've lost a few games, but like, dude, they look a whole lot better than Kentucky. They're a lot more inspiring, at least. And like this is without
DP.
Or without Peterson.
Yeah.
So it's like, it really is like, it is like you said, it's the biggest story in college basketball. It's the biggest disappointment so far, and you know maybe the tides are turning, but like I don't think so. I don't think they are. I just think they kind of suck.
it's not the result. Like you mentioned, like Florida, I think is gonna be. Yeah, you're right. You just move the goalpost of expectation. Like they're gonna be a 5 through 10 seed,
Right.
and it's exactly like UConn last year, where UConn was 8 or 9, and they gave Florida the eventual
Yeah,
national champs. Like
exactly.
they could have
Exactly.
won that
Yeah.
game. Like they're gonna be good towards the end of the year, and I think they're gonna figure. Like it's not horrible vibes there. Like Kentucky, watching them, it's body language. Like it's guys who look like they're just there for the check. It's everything that's people
Right.
talk bad about the current state of NIL and how nobody cares about their university or wanting to play. Like they're there for the check, and they're the prime example of this. So I don't know what Pope has to do. I don't know if Pope has to like. I saw Goodman say that they should suspend Owe, which I think is hilarious to set a standard.
He's
Um,
incredible.
out of lack of effort. So, but like something does have to be done where I
Oh yeah.
don't like Pope has to chew his guys out and like way smaller level. But a BYU team finished his last BYU team finished like 6th or 7th in the WCC his last year, um, and is a team that should have been a lot better. Like so, he hasn't been able to pull teams out of the mud in the past, and I don't know. It's just a big question mark because again, it's not Cal or Self or a lot of these elite coaches. Like Pope has not proved himself yet.
Right.
It's
Well,
it's
and
a lot
also
more
there's probably a
palatable.
part of it on that note, like hasn't proven it yet. It's like all of these guys making all of this money aren't like gonna listen to this guy. Like that is a
Yeah,
thing. Like that's how it happens in professional sports and like college basketball and Kentucky especially, as we said 10 times, is a professional team. Like they're making
yeah,
a lot of money to play
more than
basketball and like
anybody else. Yeah,
yeah, like they aren't gonna like just listen and like they're not gonna run sprints the same way. Like it's just different. Like it just is, and like you have to coach differently. So like
yeah,
Pope has to figure that out and has to figure out how to get it right. And I agree with you. Like I don't think it's gonna happen. Speaking of Kentucky lineage, let's move along to another team I want to talk about because they got a big win this week. Arkansas takes down Louisville 89-80 on Wednesday. I think there was a lot of questions with Arkansas. Is like they lost to Michigan State early. We watched that game. I think we both came out of that game being like both these teams suck. I think we might have been wrong, but like that was
yeah,
our
hundred
prevailing
percent.
feeling at the moment. They go against Duke. They obviously lose at Cameron, and then so there's a lot of questions. It's like okay, like yeah, you're beating all these teams. You're beating the bye teams, and you know your stars aren't looking particularly great. It's like, is this team really have it? And then Louisville comes. Was that in Arkansas? Yeah, Louisville comes down to Arkansas, and they take down a top 10 team in Louisville who had been, you know, they were kind of the darling of the early season. Although I guess that
Yeah,
Kentucky win doesn't really look that special anymore. But in the moment, we
yeah.
thought that was
Rivalry
something.
game though.
And
Yeah,
yeah, rivalry game, right? And but Arkansas does get a big win, and Acuff goes off, and Brazil plays really well, and like it looked like they had juice, and they hustled, and they worked really hard, and like they were a fun, exciting watch. What do you think about Arkansas? What do you have adjusted expectations for them, or what do you think about them going into like kind of the SEC play? What should we expect?
yeah. I think I was kind of critical of them early on because they were so young, and I don't know, like the pieces didn't look great, and obviously it's been kind of tough to trust Cal, but I think what we've learned in terms of what Kentucky is now, and the fact that Cal, went deep last season, and like they probably owe Cal an apology because he's
Yeah,
he's he's coaching well at Arkansas, and he's building it well. Um,
right.
like they're legit, in the upper echelon of the SEC. Like a big thing this week too, I think, is conferences and the SEC ACC challenge. Like the ACC is probably back more than we thought it would be, and the SEC is
Yeah,
probably more down than especially last year. But Arkansas is one of the exceptions there, where the SEC's kind of wide open, and then you look at Arkansas and like, why can't they compete there at the top? Because yeah, you mentioned Brazil, and Acuff is that freshman that's so made for Cal, and like Pringle's been everywhere, and he's kind of just a body, but he's just like a good role player, which is good to
yeah.
have. Like he's not going to do anything special, but he's gonna play well. And Billy Richmond's in year 2, and Wagner, like these guys know Cal, and I don't know, it just fits so well with him.
It
And it
does
seems
feel
like
like it feels like a Cal team.
yeah, and listening to some of his pressers and quotes after games, like you can tell he's confident and kind of having a good time there. And yeah, he's changed so many young men's lives for the better. And it seems like a lot of these are great young men, and they're gonna make a ton of money in the future. So props to Cal. I mean, he's doing the Lord's work, and really one of the most influential people, period, I think, of the past,
The
100
21st
years. When you
century.
look at
Yeah.
yeah, when you look at America. Um, and I think this is another great example of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I completely agree with that sentiment. That is definitely one of the most important people. But no, they look awesome. I mean, like, it is hilarious. Like, obviously, we're gonna get to actual SEC play, and like, we're gonna see what happens. But like, the teams right now that are at the top of the SEC in terms of like record
Yeah, let's check the
is
standings.
hilarious. It's like it's Vandy 1. Vandy's 9-0. You
Which
got
is
Georgia and LSU.
Vandy's legit the best team.
No, I know. We said we called
Which
it
is
out preseason. We said on SEC
hilarious.
pod like we
Yeah,
said they were massive. I mean,
Byington's
we can, let's
special.
talk. Let's,
Vandy's
I want to
up.
talk about Vandy. We should talk about Vandy after we
Vandy's
get on
up.
Arkansas. But then like Arkansas and Alabama are both 7-2. Missouri's 8-2. Like those are kind of seem to like the cream of the crop of the SEC. I think seems to be like Vandy, Bama, Arkansas, maybe Missouri. Like I don't know if I'm buying Georgia LSU yet. I'm gonna give that some time, but like
LSU is fun,
yeah,
but Tech, yeah.
like Tennessee has been obviously like Bryce
Tennessee
isn't on the
sucks.
pod today, but like they literally lost 3 games in a row. like, and like
No, I'm not gonna say they
Ament,
suck,
we
but
talked
they
about
suck.
It, I think we talked about it privately, but Ament and Gillespie have been terrible. Like they have been absolutely stinking it
In
up for like
in every game against power conference teams not named Rutgers, they've been horrible. And
right,
Tennessee's a team where they're so dependent on those two guys that like Tennessee's up there with some of the worst power conference teams, I think. Like they have to be bottom 3 power conference teams. Like I'd throw them in the trash can. Like I would not. You know what I mean? Like, do you think they're gonna make the
you
NCAA
consider
tournament?
a
Or no?
bottom 30 top power 4 team.
Yeah, would you agree or no?
Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, yeah. No, they're not actually. I mean, they have a lot of work to do. But
They're not actually.
from
But
actual,
the fact
like,
that they're ranked is fucking crazy. There's
Yeah.
no way they're gonna be
they're
ranked.
hanging on to that Houston win a lot. And to get my actual Tennessee take, like it's just yes, they're so dependent on those two guys, and they like Carey's an X factor, and like I like Estrella and I like Felix, but in terms of guys you can count on, like it's Gillespie, and Gillespie looks again, like I said, overwhelmed against these power conference teams.
Yeah.
I know it was from Maryland, but like it's different expectations here.
Well, also, he was like the 3rd guy on Maryland.
Exactly.
Like, he didn't
Like,
have
he's-
to be the number 1 scorer.
Yeah, he has more expectation. And then when you look at Ament, like he's just in the year of the freshman where so many have been so good right away, like Ament is more raw, which is fine in most years. Like he shows flashes but his body's just not there yet, his consistency isn't there yet. And honestly, in the second halves of these games, like they get worn down and tired and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, but like it may be fair to ask the question of like Rick Barnes has Father Time's undefeated. Like he has to adjust better to be able to free up shots and be able to get better guys that fit him at the portal.
Yeah.
Like I know they
in fairness to Gillespie and Ament, it's like they don't run anything for them. Like it's all just like go get the ball and get a bucket. Like Ament is trying to do like 2 like Euro steps from the free throw line every play, and like when it works, it's like holy shit, this guy looks awesome. He's long, he's athletic, but like
he's just raw.
Then you get to the end of the game, and you're like, wait, he had 17 points on 5 of 17 shooting. And
yeah, because he has
Gillespie
to
went
put up those
2
shots.
of 12 from 3,
Yeah.
and it's like Jesus, like this is not efficient basketball. And then like once you pass those guys, like Estrella, you mentioned has obviously been good, but like beyond. There's just not a lot of talent. Like it's not, and then so you're really relying on these guys, and like you said, like Ament has looked like a freshman, whereas a lot of these freshmen have looked seasoned and looked good and looked like capable of
Yeah,
stepping onto the floor. And like
a lot of the
I
freshmen,
think
yeah,
Ament
look good.
Ament is probably establishing somewhat of an NBA draft thing, and
He's
he's
just
not
raw.
going to be. Yeah, he's not going to be a great college basketball player. He hasn't proven it yet. Maybe like things will change, but like at the
Well,
moment,
yeah,
he's
I
raw.
mean, he's going to be, but yeah, like his plan was one and done, like gonna be,
Yeah,
right away. So like obviously like he has the build and skill set to where once he
yeah,
puts size on and gets more physical and stuff, like he would be a monster if he stayed 4 years, right? But
right.
the
There's no
expectation
chance. He's gonna
was
go.
one and
He
done.
could finish the season 16 points a game on 37% shooting. He's still a top 5 pick. So like he's gone.
Yeah,
Like there's
maybe not
no
top five,
chance.
but
He
yeah,
was
we'll
Field
see.
of 68 had him picked over Boozer. Did you see that?
I don't know, as of when last week? I
Like
mean,
Friday after the
yeah.
Michigan State game.
That seems crazy because there's so many like you look at Caleb Wilson and Mikael Brown and Boozer like and then obviously DP and AJ like top
Yeah.
five seems a little crazy because he is so raw and it's such a deep class, but yeah, it could probably be a first round pick just based off being what is he like 6'10" and
He'll be he's
perfect
top
guard
10
times.
lottery. I guarantee it if he goes out just with his body. Like that
Yeah,
is the body of like top.
he's raw.
Like he's raw. He's very raw. I yeah. When we totally went off of Arkansas and started bragging on Tennessee, but that's all right. We got a little SEC thing going on.
Yeah, but they have a massive game. Like Louisville is their next game, and they have them at home. So, like that's gonna be
0-4.
it'll tell you a lot. Like
That's probably the only reason they're still ranked.
let's see if Barnes can adjust.
Yeah. And newsflash. Breaking. No, I don't know. The SEC is not quite what I think. It's obviously nowhere near what it was last year. It's like it's mediocre in comparison. Like
Yeah.
the Big Ten and the Big 12 are so far clear, and the ACC might be clear too. So like,
Should
I
we
don't know.
have-
It's not-
Should we have the? Oh well, also like the Illinois game as well. Like is tough because Illinois is really good. I think like Kylan Boswell is an elite defender, and when you pair Boswell and Stojakovic with those bigs, like they're going to be really good. So yeah, and like Syracuse was frisky for so much of the season, and they finally got over the hump in that game, and yeah, like Kansas has been better. So like it's not like they have a bad loss so far. Like they beat Rutgers and they have that win over Houston. So it's wait and see. But they probably I mean that Louisville's big for the another big win coming out of the non-con because right now the only thing
Yeah.
they're hanging their hat on is Houston. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's not great. And I mean, we don't even really know how good Houston is, to be honest. I saw all this stuff today of like Houston's number 7 in the AP poll. Like how is that probably they should for sure be top 5? I'm like, should they? Like, have they looked good? Like,
No, I think the
aside
top
from, like-
five is pretty set right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's perfect. And like, Houston.
I don't know if Houston's even like a top 3 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like,
Just because how
they've
good the
gone
Big
down to
12
the
is.
wire. They've gone down to the wire with a lot of teams, and like Fleming has been awesome, and like they've ended up winning most of the games, but it's like it's been tight, and like I don't know, that's probably a little bit of a bubble with Houston, but whatever, that's beside the point. All right, moving on from Tennessee, do you want to give a spiel on Vanderbilt because they are awesome?
I mean, they're really, really, really good. I think they are the best team in the SEC. I think it's valid to give that spiel. Like they dominated SMU, and like the thing that's crazy, they put up 96 on St. Mary's, and
Yeah.
like that's their St. Mary's only loss of the season, and obviously I know St. Mary's well. Like the whole thing about St. Mary's is that their pace is so slow and their defense is so good that it frustrates you. Like nobody puts up 96 or close to on St. Mary's just from a strict pace of play thing. Like not even
Yeah,
the talent involved, but their guards are completely overwhelming. Like Byington found exactly the perfect fit for what he wants to do. Like Frankie Collins, obviously from TCU, and then like Duke Miles and Tyler Nichols, a sniper, and Tyler Tanner. Like Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner get up in your grill so much, and they're so good defensively and turning you over and kind of speeding it up to what they want, and they just play so hard. Um,
Yeah.
that
And
it's
they're
fun to
deep,
watch.
so
Like,
like they
yeah,
can like
yeah, they
rotate
rotated.
enough. Like it's just
Yeah,
go, 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 go. It's like that kind of like new style. It's like the Grizzlies are doing it in the NBA, and it's like on a much
yeah,
lower level, like IUPUI we talked about earlier in the year. But it's like that fucking like just run, run, run. Like hockey subs, like we're rolling
it's
out
so
guys,
smart.
and like you can just say like you could be like, okay,
And,
Vanderbilt being 15, like their wins, like okay, they win by 12. UCF is 8-1 on the season. They win against St. Mary's. St. Mary's is 9-1 on the season. They beat SMU, who's 9-1 on the season. Like SMU and
VCU
St.
too.
Mary's aren't
VCU is good.
ranked. Exactly. Like these are not ranked wins, so they don't look like as flashy as beating Kentucky did for Louisville. But like a
They're
win
blowout
against St.
wins.
Mary's, yeah, exactly. Like a 25-point win against St. Mary's is means as much as that. Like I think the fact that Vanderbilt's only 15th right now is probably
It's a
like
brand
gonna
thing.
adjust if they keep winning, and like they
Same as
they
football
have
too.
probably yeah, true. Everyone's distracted by pop.
And he's up right now.
Yeah, true. They got the money. They got no problem when it comes to
Yeah,
finances. So that's kind
they're
of
up
good.
there with best. Yeah, I mean Nashville's obviously a hotbed, but they're up there with best football basketball duos, which is
Right
crazy
now,
to
yeah,
think about.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
like it's
Yeah.
freaking Vanderbilt, and like they have a Heisman finalist and 10-2, and then to be this arguably the best team in the SEC in basketball. It's pretty unreal what they're doing.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, Vanderbilt's awesome. It's a good story. I do hope. Yeah, I hope they keep it going. I would love to just see Vanderbilt end of the season like 1 seed. Like that shit would be so sick. Like just so random for like people who don't follow college basketball to just see Vanderbilt pop up on their brackets would be pretty funny.
Shout
All
out
right,
Frankie
pushing
Collins.
forward. Let's move on. Let's talk about because talked about like Kentucky got killed by Gonzaga. Gonzaga's really good. Like Gonzaga's really really good. Like they obviously get
Yeah,
killed against Michigan, but like EK and like Huff, dude, Huff is awesome. Braden Huff is so awesome. Like I know you hate
Frank
Gonzaga,
was
but like
good.
that like he just got that long hair, he's this white guy. Like oh, I love him. Like I could watch him play all day, and like they are a lot of fun, and they play like the most efficient basketball. You just like they get the right shot every single time. Like Mark Few, I hate to say it, Nick. I think the Mark Few is dead take might be the only instance where you're wrong this season. Actually,
We'll see. We'll see if he gets to his first Final Four. I mean, like they are really good, and they play through the front court, which they're two hateable guys. But they are both really good. Like, 'cause Huff's like soft, but they're a good yin and yang because EK is just like a bully, big,
yeah,
physical dude, and then Huff has like the turnarounds and
yeah, a
in the
little
post
hook.
and stretch the floor a little bit. Yeah, and they're both like Huff's tall as hell too. The reason they lost to Michigan is because they got down early and they got away with what they wanted to do. Like a few
Yeah,
talked about this. Like they tried to over scheme it, where it's like Gonzaga is good enough to where they should be able to go in and execute their style of play against any team, um,
yeah,
which is very effective, obviously, because they have one of the best front courts in the nation, and when they're on, they can beat anybody. So yeah, I mean Gonzaga is good. Gonzaga is going to be a national title contender, I think is fair to say at this point, and yeah, we'll see if you can get over that hump, but um, it'll be interesting. I'm sure there's no other team in the WCC that can compete with them, and I think they're locked to win the regular season title. Just as they've done the past couple of years. I believe so. So we'll see.
yeah. They must have, right?
Yeah, they must have. There's
They
no other
must have.
team. There's no other
Yeah,
team that could have done that. And there's no other team this year that's has the same record as them and only
yeah.
losses to a very good team, just like Gonzaga. So we'll see.
Right.
But those Gonzaga same just as they are every year. I legitimately think it's the best rivalry in college basketball just because how close the matchups have actually been in the past
Yeah.
10, like Duke,
regardless of how good the teams are too. Like,
yeah,
it's just
like
always
Duke has
an awesome game.
overwhelmed UNC, and especially the past 3 or 4 years, I guess, when
Yeah.
like St. Mary's has been top 7 seeds in the past 4 years, and Gonzaga has kind of been a little bit down to where they've been closer to that, and like Gonzaga was an 8 seed last year or whatever, and like it's fun. So I think this year again, like best rival in college basketball, I'm gonna stamp it, and it's gonna be fun.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, you touched on it there for a second. We should just give Michigan flowers because, like, I don't actually think we've talked about it on a podcast. Have we? That
Yeah,
they
I
beat.
mean their big feast week was we talked
They're
about last week.
insane. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
we
they're
probably
not.
did, but like, they're unreal. They've won their last since the 4 point loss against TCU. Their next 5 games, margin of victory total is like 170. It's fucking
Yeah,
insane. How
and I
how
hope they
dominant
I
they've
hope they
been.
keep doing that and making TCU's metrics look better for that four
Yeah,
point loss. It's, like
yeah.
legitimately, like
TCU
TCU,
had him
it,
too. TCU
it
had him.
sucks.
Like
It
that's the
sucks.
craziest part. They
Yeah, not
literally
to be
had him.
funny,
If they
TCU
made a
sucks, but
shot in the last 10 minutes, they would have won that game.
yeah,
Like they had him.
all three of
Oh,
TCU's losses, like like they should have they like they could very well be undefeated right now with wins over
I know.
Michigan and
It's just
Florida.
the
Like
offense just
again,
we don't have to get into too
yeah,
much. The offense just
yeah,
stagnates so much at the end of their games. Like I'm
yeah.
trying to root for you and like
So
watch
frustrating.
TCU so intently. It's so frustrating because they work so hard.
I
Like
know.
they work so
Yeah, their
hard.
defense is really good and they play their ass off, but yeah,
Yeah.
offensive talent is has gone in the way of their of them. Like they should be ranked right now, and it got in the way of Notre
Yeah.
Dame the other day. I mean, that didn't really get in the way of Notre Dame. I guess just making free throws down the stretch, but that's a
Yeah.
story for another
That was
day.
not a story for another day. We can skip TCU for now. Although Ohio State and TCU do have a common opponent, so I guess we know now that
Yeah, we
Ohio
don't have
State
to
will
talk
probably
about it.
beat
We don't.
Florida. So
We don't have to talk
that's
about
good
it.
enough.
We don't have to talk about it.
Oh, we'll talk about it at some point. Don't worry.
We'll have
All
bubble
right.
conversation. We'll have so much time for bubble
I know
conversations.
we're gonna have a great we're gonna have a bubble pod because now Tennessee's gonna be right there with us too. That's the best part.
Honestly, if we compared resumes, TCU, Ohio State, Tennessee.
TCU is the best right now, for sure. And then I think Ohio State. Then I think Tennessee. I mean, honestly, like
If the season ended today,
OSU lost in an away game against a Power Four team at the buzzer. So like I don't know. Like yeah, it was
yeah,
obviously Pitt, but like you know. They fucking lost to
yeah,
Syracuse, dude. We beat Northwestern away from home, so show us some respect.
which is honestly a good win.
It was
Unironically,
Martinelli, free throw merchant. I don't like that guy.
yeah, been doing it for too long.
Not fun to watch. All right, moving on. Saturday, awesome day of college basketball. We had two undefeated teams, Duke and Michigan State, facing off, and simultaneously we had two other undefeated teams in Iowa State and Purdue facing off.
Yeah,
Iowa
probably.
State takes down number one in the country, Purdue. Duke beats Michigan State. Kind of comes down to the wire, but Duke was definitely in control of it. Cam Boozer, I think early in the game around halftime, it was like, man, Boozer doesn't feel like he's really putting his mark on this game. Like he feels passive. Like well, you know. And then you look at the end of the game, he's got 18 points, 15 boards, 5 assists, a block, 2 steals. He shoots 7 of 13 from the field. He is just unbelievable. Cam Boozer is the best player in the country right now. I don't even think that's a debate. He is the national player of the year as it stands right now. And that was an awesome game. And Michigan State. Jeremy Fears Jr. in a game where he's pumping up the crowd what were they saying? Fuck Cam Boozer. And he goes 0 of 10 from the field. He's flopping on like every shot attempt. Like it was really not a pretty game for him. It didn't even look like he was trying to score. He gets 13 assists, but to what end? I think their best player is honestly Jackson Kohler at this point. But that's a whole different conversation. But I don't know, Nick. What did you see from Michigan State here, and what did you see from Cam Boozer at Duke? How do you feel about this going forward?
Yeah, I think they're both really good teams. Like this was an opportunity where I think that that Michigan could have, Michigan State could have faltered, and I know it was at home and everything, but they played up to par, and
They did.
Duke's just really 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 good. Like you mentioned, like they're gonna be right there, and it's again like the thing that Cam Boozer, like we've talked about so much, and we already talked about Duke, so I won't spend too much time, but like his play style is so much similar to Flag, I think too, and like he's long, he can handle the ball, he's a
Yeah.
forward, and like Duke point guard play is so important. I believe, and there's so few teams that can be able to execute with elite play without a real great point guard. Because like Caleb Foster hasn't been great. He was actually really good in this game. Kind of the first
Mm,
game he's really played good this season.
yeah.
But like they don't have like that star guard, and the fact they can go to
No.
Boozer
I mean,
and
Evans came
handle
from
the
the side of
ball
the
and be
barn.
comfortable. Yeah, and like I think Caden Boozer is probably going to take over that freshman. Or I mean starting point guard spot as the season goes
We'll
on.
see.
Because
He's
he's
been pretty
been,
bad so far.
but you can like eye test like he's a better guard handler than Foster. I think we'll see,
Maybe.
but it'll be interesting. Um, and then yeah, like Michigan State is good, and it's so frustrating as Fears has been so elite, and like he's so similar like a Cassius Winston with,
Yeah.
or even like he's like the Braden Smith of this thing. Like he's able to command everything so well, and he's the perfect fit for Izzo to run his squad, and such a great point guard. As I mentioned, point guard play is so important. So it was like they were able to hang with Duke in a game where, like you mentioned, he went 0 of 10 from the field. So like he'll be better, and yeah, Michigan State's gonna be frisky. I don't know if they're national title good, but they're going to be good, and Duke is national title good because they've played a super tough schedule and they've answered every test. So um, that's my takeaway.
I think Duke. I think like, and this is like, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. I think Cam Boozer is actually like plugging up holes. Like I actually don't think the supporting cast for Duke standards is that great. Like
Yeah, I
the
agree. Yeah,
players around him aren't
I wholeheartedly
spectacular. Like
agree.
the guards aren't spectacular, the bigs aren't spectacular.
Yeah,
Cam Boozer
Gonga's
is
good.
like no, he's good and he's a good like defensive big guy, but like I'm gonna raise your Cooper Flag take. I'm gonna just like get like outlandish with it. I'm gonna say he reminds me of Jokic. Like the way he controls the ball on offense when they give it to him and he just stands there and he just looks and he just figures out what's the right play right now and he makes the right play. Every time. He makes the right play every single time. Like he gets in the post, pump fake, get a guy up, get under him, go for the layup, you either get fouled or you get a bucket. Like he's taking open shots when they're there, he's passing it when there's someone open. Like he is so incredible on offense. It is like the most fun college basketball offensive player. He just like because even like Cooper Flag and like it's not a bad comparison, and I think like in the way that they both were kind of like the entire offensive hub for Duke, it makes a lot of sense to like compare the two. But like Cooper Flag is an elite above the rim athlete, right? Like Cooper Flag can jump, Cooper Flag can finish like above the rim. Cam Boozer doesn't get above the rim. Like Cam Boozer plays below the rim 99% of the time. It's a lot of like touch layups and he's like tapping it in and like he's grabbing offensive rebounds and like putting it back up with the lay. Like he's not dunking that much. He's not like driving through the lane and like jumping, 35, 40 inches in the air and like getting these highlight dunks. It's like he just plays so it's effortless, smart, perfect basketball. It's really like elite offensive stuff. And I mentioned this earlier, I do think he's a shitty defender. Like I think he's like a bad defender. Like I think when he is in space, I don't think he does well in space. And I think when he's protecting the rim, I think he's terrible. So like I think that's going a little under the radar. And I think Duke, weirdly enough, has an athletic team that can kind of plug the holes defensively. And it reminds me of like the Nuggets. And it reminds me of the way that like with the Nuggets, it's like it's not the most talented offense or it's not the most talented like player base around Jokic. It's a lot of like tough, good defenders and like smart in intuitive players, and like that's what's around Boozer, and he finds the right guy every time. Like the fact that he's only averaging 4 assists a game feels like it's like he should be averaging like 8. Like it feels like his like actual play style is so elite. But I do think the defense is like really bad. And like I think that's going like under the radar too. It is just interesting. He's a really interesting player. Like he's a super unique in just the way that he dominates. Like you just don't see guys like this very often.
Yeah,
sorry for
he's
the rant.
special.
I just like he's really special. He's really one of a kind.
Yeah,
I could watch him like
and
all day.
shout out to John Shire too. Like, I know it's so easy because it's Duke and like even recruiting Boozer, like
Yeah.
the Boozer twins. Like obviously, his dad played there and all that kind of stuff. But like, it is you've
He's
seen
named
a lot
after
of.
Cameron.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. Even like you see a lot of coaches who follow up legends do bad and almost like try to replicate them and all that kind of stuff. Shire is the best possible example, maybe ever, of following a legend and doing it just as good. Like I don't want to say better because Coach K, Shire hasn't won a natty yet or anything like that, but
Yeah.
like he put together an amazing team last year. He's recruiting at a maybe even a higher level.
Yeah. No, he
it's
is. I mean,
it's
he
pretty
is recruiting at a
unbelievable.
higher level. Like, you can say
Yeah,
that, like,
and his even like in-game scheme stuff, like it's the difference of scheme, and he's not in the way. Like he's a likable dude, which is crazy because
Yeah.
he's not gonna be one once they keep winning, and the fact that it's Duke and everything. But right now, like he's a likable guy, and I don't know. It's just super tough to do to follow a guy like K, and he's doing it just as good, like I mentioned, if not better.
I like the way you put it though, because it's like usually a lot of the times what you see when it comes to like bad heirs, like bad next coaches, when it comes to these like legends, like you just kind of saw it a little bit in like not to like switch over to football, but like the way Ryan Day kind of felt like he was trying to emulate what Urban did, like. And you see this with coaches all the time where it's like they're trying to emulate the last guy or be the last guy. John Shire is nothing like Coach K, and it's working so well for them. And like that's what makes Duke, like Duke is likable. Like Duke is fun, and like Duke is exciting, and like they have all these fun guys that are like easy to root for, which is so strange, obviously.
And that's gonna flip, but right now,
it will. But if they keep just cycling,
and I want it
freshmen,
to flip. Because I want to hate him, but like
well, I'll give you
I genuinely don't.
You want to talk about a team that's easy to hate?
Baylor,
Purdue.
Tech.
I'd love to talk about Purdue.
Yeah, I would love to talk about Purdue as well. That was kind of the result of the week, maybe year. It's the worst. It's the worst home loss by a AP or a number one
tied.
team in the AP poll of all time. Yeah, which is crazy. But yeah, where
doors blown off.
Do you want to start?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
You go.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. I mean, like Braden Smith was like turning the ball over. Like Braden Smith was like making bad plays, and like he obviously ends up with a fine stat line, but he did not look great. Trey Kaufman-Renn goes 1 of 8 from the field. He looked terrible. Like he was awful. It was like I think there has always been that bad TKR in there, and like sometimes it comes out, and now it came out, and like Clough looked like out of his depth playing against this level of team. Fletcher Lawyer was terrible. What is it? How do you say it? Omer Meyer. Omer Meyer was like this guy that they had been hyping for Purdue, and he started the season really well. He was terrible. Like Iowa State was all over him, like all over him. Like, Iowa State is really good, and like that's on the back of like Momcilovic, who's just like super elite scorer and like can hold a major offensive load. And like you go down the roster and like Torrey plays well, like Jefferson comes in, like does great, and it just felt like Purdue wasn't even in it. Like it was all Iowa State. Like it was just awesome cathartic win for like me as an Ohio State fan who hates Purdue. I was really giddy about it. I was very excited to watch them lose, and just like to watch the lead just keep getting bigger too was like great. It would be like, oh, they're down 15. It's like, oh wait, they're down 20. Like, oh, they're down 25, and then it ends. They end up losing by, what is it, 23 points, and like you said, biggest tied for the biggest all time, and like, they've had some big wins this year, but that, like, as maybe Iowa State is really good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're obviously deserving of a top 4 in the country. They've got big wins. Well, I mean, they beat St. John's, so like we know that they have some juice, but like that was domination, and Iowa State is legit, and like Purdue has got to like show something else, because that win over Bama is kind of all they have there on their resume at this point. Like, I don't know how much we really put into that Texas Tech game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're not the best team in the Big Ten. They're not. They might not be like Illinois and Michigan are better, in my opinion. Like, I think they both look better. So like,
yeah, I think Michigan's
to me,
better.
they're the third
Illinois,
best team in the Big Ten right now, and they got the same record as Ohio State, so the same amount of losses, I guess.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the scheme by TJ in this game was unreal. Like he put out the script of how to beat him. He doubled TKR every time he got the ball, which was TKR obviously was not able to get over that. And then you can guard Fletcher Lawyer by, he obviously has the personnel to do it because Iowa State's really good. But if you play up on Fletcher Lawyer, like he's not going to go by you because he's just not that athletic. And then you put him in a box where he's not able to be comfortable shooting, like he's not going to be effective. And then when those two guys aren't effective, like this is a Purdue team where it's so evident that it's the big three, and the big three is elite. But when you scheme them like that, and you're forced Braden Smith to feed
like
whoever, like he's not able to do that.
It's like Braden Smith, go score 30, win your team the game. Like, he can't do it.
Yeah,
like,
and he's not that style of player. Yeah, and then I think what's so interesting about Iowa State as well is that they lost wing pieces, but they literally are the exact same thing as Purdue, and they did it better, where they returned a big three of Taman Lipsey, who's this 4-year guy who's been a starter, runs the team exactly like Braden Smith, and did it better this game. Milan Momcilovic is kind of the Trey Kaufman, where he's the big. And then Joshua, Milan, like he's Dirk. Like when he's making shots, he's inconsistent at times, but when he's making shots, he's unguardable. And then Joshua Jefferson is legitimately in the running for Naismith Player of the Year. His stats are unbelievable. He's a complete player. He's so strong. Like he's gonna be a guy who he's gonna go in the NBA, and he's gonna be in the league for like 10, 12 seasons, and he's just gonna be so solid. Like he's gonna be that dependable forward where you're gonna be like a Thad Young, or I don't know, somebody like that, where he's just gonna be
Josh Jefferson.
Yeah, because he does everything so well, and like he's
awesome.
Again, like Cam Boozer's gonna win Naismith Player of the Year. Josh Jefferson's right there, where like he does everything well, and obviously coming from St. Mary's, I got to watch him a lot, and like again, like you saw the raw prospect, but the fact that he's a senior now and he has come into his body and everything, like he's so complete, and I just think that's interesting because they beat Purdue at their own game where they're the same style of play, and he did better, and it's tough, obviously. Like the big question marks of Iowa State was that they lost, Keyshawn Gilbert, and Curtis Jones and Deshaun Jackson. These are 3 starters, and they replaced some solid players, but the core is that big 3, and their big 3 outplayed Purdue's big 3. And then the main like kind of bigger picture takeaway is Big 12 best. It's tough to not say the Big 12, like unironically, no bias. The Big 12 is probably the best conference, and I think this was a big game where
I don't think
you
that's
take. I do think Big Ten's probably second, but this game was big for conference pride. So as a Big 12 guy, I like to see it as well. And I probably fell victim. Like I still am high on Purdue. Like Purdue's not gonna be that bad, and Painter's gonna be able to scheme all that kind of stuff, and they're still so elite on offense. Like they're gonna be fine. Um, but yeah, I think it's valid to put Michigan ahead of them,
Have you
and I
seen
think
what Ian
Iowa
Smith
State
said too?
know what to say.
Do you still trust the guy? He's like a bright green like leaf on his arm, and he covers it with a sleeve.
Oh yeah, I saw it. There's like a mirror pic that
Yeah,
like went viral with it.
that's all.
Yeah,
That's a hero. You know.
yeah. No, he's a weird. But Iowa State
Yeah,
catapulted themselves into the national title conversation, and
totally.
like when they hired TJ, like TJ's rebuilt this program from nothing. And
Yeah,
like there was a lot of skeptics, like he hasn't won much at UNLV and South Dakota State and all this kind of stuff. Like he's right there with any
yeah.
coach right now, I think. And so I mean,
And I
as we
mean, as
mentioned, like this is
consistent
one of the
like as anyone, like it's not it's obviously Izzo has this crazy body of work where it's like like even like I think on our Big Ten episode we barely even I don't even know if we talked about Michigan State and like here's Michigan State coming into the season they're top 10 in the country. Izzo's always up there, but like TJ the last so many years since he's been at Iowa State it's been like that. Like they're good every year and you don't go into the season thinking like this Iowa State team's a national
yeah
championship contender, and then they're just always in the conversation or they're in the top 10 conversation. And like, that's elite coaching. Like, there's not a lot of guys that have programs like, Iowa State, it's Iowa State. Like, it's not Kentucky or Duke or whatever. Like, it's pretty cool to see a guy this consistent with the program, like, that he had a lot to do with, So, no, it's really cool. Like, and like, I love watching Iowa State. I mean, they're so fun. And like Momcilovic is like maybe him and Boozer so far have been my favorite players to watch in college basketball. I think. So yeah, it's really cool for them, and I mean, it was just an awesome game to watch.
yeah. Well,
Later
I
on
wanna
that
I wanna
night,
harp on one thing
yeah.
though that you
Go
said.
ahead.
Like yeah, they've been a really solid team. They've been top 15, top 20, but they've never been in the conversation of being national title. And like even this year is the same thing. We're like, oh, they're gonna be good. They could have like they were a 2 seed a couple years ago, but like this win I think is more than just like a special one. Like it's a monumental win because it puts you in a different level where I don't want to be too big on one game, but I think it does
Yeah,
raise your program to like nobody goes into Purdue and wins by that much, and especially when they're the one seeded team. Like Purdue always gets upset early in the season, so I
yeah.
think my big takeaway is that
I
it's
love
more
when
on
that KB clip
yeah the
goes,
KV
goes
clip.
viral every time.
You see Purdue, it's not an upset,
Yeah,
but it's true. Like
yeah,
they always are up there, and then they lose early in the season, and they end up being fine, and end up being a 1 seed or top 5 seed or whatever it is. But Iowa State put themselves in a new level where they're a top 5
for
team in the
sure.
nation, and I think that's special.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, like it's fun. I hate Purdue, so it's fun to shit on Purdue. But like, yeah, I mean, this is also the team that went down to Alabama and took out Alabama and beat Illinois. Obviously, like, or not Illinois. Who else did they beat? They beat Texas Tech, and those are big wins. And like, they are still a top 10 team. They're probably accurately ranked sixth at the moment. I guess before we hop off, I'm trying to think. All right, let's just do this. It's not exactly like you mentioned, like you joked at the beginning of the pod. It's not the elite games of this week or last week coming into coming into December. Like we know it kind of slows down. There are some big ones tomorrow night, including my Ohio State Buckeyes. Illinois is coming to
Yeah,
Columbus tomorrow night. And, like, say what you will, I don't think it's biased to suggest that this is the game. It's going to be on NBC. John Fanta is going to be on the call. Like, this is probably
yeah,
this, and then you got Florida UConn are the two most exciting games going on
yeah.
tomorrow. Like,
BYU Clemson's good too.
yeah.
MSG.
Ohio State obviously has a loss to
Are you gonna be there?
Pitt. No, I'm going to watch at home. Because I don't
Damn.
want to sit. I don't want to sit in the cheap seats. I want to like get the real view of it because like I gotta see it. Like yeah, I want to watch it. I want to like really like intently watch it.
Dude, you gotta get
And
credentialed for these games. That'd be
I
fire.
know I know I gotta get better. I gotta write more, but that's beside the point. January, write blog January.
You gotta get
It's gonna
credentialed.
got to get credentialed. You gotta get on that Killer Frogs.
Got to
that Killer Frogs thing. But
get
yeah,
those premium
Illinois
seats.
is obviously elite. They won. They have wins over Tennessee and Texas Tech, losses to Bama and UConn, but they've looked awesome, and that offense is like unbelievable. Boswell, Stojakovic, Mirkovic, Wagler, all of the Balkans coming in there. They have elite size, which Ohio State is not necessarily accustomed to deal with. Like, it's going to have to be a big time Tilly game, and he has not been great recently. But like, Vegas has it close, and like, man, Brandon Knoll last night, or I'm sorry, Saturday, goes off for 30 points in a game, and he's a big transfer from Wright State. Like, 30 points at Northwestern. He shot like 13 and 15 from the field. He's going to have to be aggressive. I think Mobley's going to have to hit some threes. He's going to have to catch fire, and Bruce is going to have to be Bruce, and he's going to have a serious game for us to win. But like, I mean, this is like an exciting big game at Ohio State. Like, this is pretty cool. Like, this is kind of, there's optimism right now. Like, there's excitement like for this season. We're 7-1, and we got a top 15 team coming to Columbus. You win this game, you're ranked. Like, that's a big deal. Ohio State hasn't been ranked in a long time at this point. So it's like, it's really exciting. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching intently. I might end up going. We'll see what happens. I might bite the bullet and just go just to be there for the energy, because it's going to be a lot of fun. But that's beside. I don't know, Nick. Do you think
Value
there's a chance
City's gonna be
tomorrow,
tested.
am I
I
hyping myself
do.
up for no reason?
I mean, this is cool because, like you mentioned, like Ohio State hasn't had that premier game yet. Like, Notre Dame's cool, and Notre Dame's a very good team. I think we can both agree. like having
Notre Dame's a
scheduling
big
them
win,
in the resume.
right? Yeah.
Yes, Notre Dame is amazing, and to go to overtime with them is extremely tough. And like Pitt was cool.
We easily could have lost that game. We literally came out of the last second shot. So it's not like
and
we
TCU
did
could have
win.
easily won.
So
Yeah. That's beside the point. But like, this is the first like real big time opponent, obviously conference play here, and it means a ton. And like you mentioned, like build your team because Thornton's been balling and all that kind of stuff, and these different like Tilly and you mentioned Noel, like these stories have been cool throughout the year, but like this is the first premier matchup where you're going to see exactly what's going to happen. Like Boswell and Stojakovic are a very, very good backcourt, and like you mentioned, the bigs of the Ivicic twins. But yeah, like Value City's going to be tested. Like this is
don't call it values.
this is going to be, what do you guys call it? VCA?
It's the shot. It's a shot.
The shot?
Yeah.
The
It's
shot's going to be tested.
the shot. Shot's gonna be wrong.
You think how do you think the atmosphere is going to be? You think it's going to be rocking?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Usually, like, we had Duke my freshman year, like, come in and we won. I mean, that was EJ Liddell. That was EJ Liddell's senior year, and we beat Duke. And like, that was like kind of this same idea where it's like early season, big game. Tickets.
And this
the
conference
fact
too,
that
so
the cheapest tickets in the building are $15. That's a sign for Ohio State. Like, usually their nosebleeds are $2. Like, this is like, that tells you like this is gonna be pumped. Like, if you want to sit in good seats, you're paying $100. Like, that's a big deal. Like, it's gonna be packed. Like, man, I might go. Fuck.
I do think you guys have a shot.
I might just
And like Illinois is coming off a big win over Tennessee, to where they're riding high, and
Right.
we can have that whole like max PFT debate about like whether you'd rather see a team coming off a loss or not. But I think you'd rather.
The thing is, I actually do agree with the PFT. Like, it's like I actually would.
No, yeah.
Face them
You'd rather
win
than
like that because
exactly.
coming in, not as motivated, and it's like let's take advantage and let's beat. Get a big like, we need this too, because like this is like this is our opportunity. Like, this is our you guys beat Florida. Like, this is our opportunity to do that.
We did.
It's like, you lost to Pitt on a buzzer beater, and that sucks. If you beat Illinois, no one cares about that anymore. Like, it's you are ranked. Like, you might be top 20 for all you know. Like, this is a huge win. This is gonna, like, if they beat Illinois, they're going to jump up in the net like 20
Yeah.
spots. Like it's going to be a massive swing for them. So it
Yeah.
really is like let's go beat Illinois. That would be so awesome.
That'd be huge.
I'll be so
Gonna be
annoying.
fun. The
I have
matchups,
to go.
like it's fun too because it's
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be
I
like
don't wanna say
90
it's
to
like
95. Like
yeah,
yeah.
like it's two teams that are better on offense than defense, and yeah, like just great bucket. Obviously, Thornton's probably the best player in this game, but like Boswell and Stojakovic are very good, and the Ivisic twins and then going up against your kind of revamped front court that's probably been better than expected. I would
I'm
say like
concerned
it's gonna be
about
really
Tilly
fun.
though. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about Tilly. He's been so inefficient the last two games. Like against Pitt, he's like 1 for 10. Like, I think you might see an Ohio State. You might see the Amari Bynum, Brandon Knoll front court, which is going to be a lot faster, a lot more up and down. You might not see as much Tilly. We might try to fight their size with speed, and I wouldn't mind
I
that.
like that.
And I think that could be a lot of fun. So look out for that. Look out for Amari Bynum too. He's really, really good. Like he's an NBA player hiding on Ohio State's bench. He's a monster. But yeah, Nick. I mean, that's it. Do you want a little State of the Union for TCU before we hop off, or you think?
I
we
mean,
covered?
I don't know. I mean, it's like I mentioned a little earlier. Like it's frustrating because like the Notre Dame, if they just hit free throws down the stretch and then like punch out a shot to tie it in overtime against Notre Dame, and that's a game that like they would be ranked if they won that. And good bounce back win on one day of rest over North Texas. And they had a tough 6-game stretch and like going 4-2 in that. And I've always said that if they lost 3 games coming out of the non-con, that would be a success. And I thought that would be losses to Florida and Michigan, and then
Yeah.
and then like losing one of Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and then North Texas, and then like that would be fine. But obviously, it's been a different way of getting to that. But
Yeah.
if they handle business, which they should, in these last 4 games heading into Big 12 play, I'm honestly happy, and their ranks are better than they were preseason, which is all I can ask for at this point. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, receiving votes, and David Punch is getting better and better. It does.
feels good
And
to
like
receive votes.
God, if they just beat Notre Dame, like we would be ranked for the first time in a couple of years, which I don't know would be fun. But Punch is becoming a star, and
is awesome.
that's awesome because he's the real deal.
Brock and Punch
That's the
pretty
duo.
good. And Edmonds when he's got his head on right. Is
Yeah,
really good.
Edmonds
Three.
was really good yesterday. He had his best game.
Yeah.
I feel like he was kind of the
if he
reason
just
we
stays
beat North
focused,
Texas.
he's just a beast, but it's just a mental thing. Whatever. All right,
Yeah.
that's probably it then. We hit a good. That was a good pod. It's a 70-minute pod. Just kind of recap. It's been a while, obviously. Nick, good to talk to you. Good to talk college basketball. Obviously, like you said, the season is slowing down, but the season will slow down in December, and then we're in conference play in January, and like we're ready to go, and it's the final stretch.
Big Ten's already in it.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even think about that until Bryce texted that, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a little strange, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
In my head, everyone.
You guys
was,
are young.
But,
Yeah.
a lot of games.
Christmas
All
time
right,
is always a little weird time in college basketball, so we'll probably see some weird bye game upsets just because of the weird dead days of schedule and getting close to Christmas time and all that kind of stuff, which is fun to see random results like that. But overall, it's gonna kind of be relatively dead. But excited for conference play coming up, and
it'll be an opportunity
conference for everybody coming up in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be an opportunity to remind myself that NBA exists because I've just completely not been watching. But Pat Spencer apparently has been quite the revelation.
Pat Spencer better than Pods. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you're hearing
that's kind of the discourse I've been. I've been getting there. I've been talking. I've been on X, but yeah.
X the everything app. All right,
X
Nick,
the everything
I appreciate
app.
you hopping on.
You are the media.
The mid-range CVB on all platforms. Weiss Jacob 04, I think. Jermonte Nick.
Go get a win tomorrow.
Let's go get a win.
Yeah.
All right, OH.
Let's go get a win tomorrow. Why don't we? Why don't we make a statement? Like, why not?